Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. So how good is Aquaman? Well, I think we need to compare it to the MCU origin movies or first character movies at least. So let's go with Iron Man. Is Aquaman as good as the first Iron Man? Yes, it is. It's very good. It's just as good. It's as simple as that, right? There's nothing in this film that they do that outshines Aquaman. So first off, right, it is just as good as Iron Man, right? So I'm glad we got that sorted. So that's the first one, right? So what we got here, is it as good as the Incredible Hulk? No, it's a bit unfair to talk about this movie, but it is part of the MCU canon, so you can literally hold it up and talk about it. So is it as good as the Incredible Hulk? Yes, it's better than the Incredible Hulk, isn't it? I mean, I quite like the Incredible Hulk, and I don't think Norton did anything wrong in it. I just feel that, Aquaman is better all round. For me, everything works a lot stronger. So there's that. So what we got next? Now, this is one of my favourites, actually. I picked the wrong film up, but if we just forget that this is Captain America, the Winter Soldier, which is a brilliant film, by the way, let's ask, is Aquaman as good as the first Captain America? Yes. Yeah. I mean, I love the first Captain America film. I think it's really done well. I think Chris Evans plays it brilliantly, and you certainly fall in love with that character and believe in that character. Is Aquaman as good as that film? I think, yes, I think it is definitely as good as that film. It does the same job as that film does. It helps you embrace the character. It introduces you to the world really well. So I think Aquaman definitely. I probably got more from Captain America on an emotional level, but definitely in terms of quality and what that film does, I think again it's just as good as the first Captain America. So what we got next? Everyone's favourite superhero origin film, the first four, not right. So is Aquaman as good as Thor? Yes, the first four. Yeah, it absolutely creams the first four, doesn't it? Again, this is a film I didn't mind too much. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was a terrible film. I didn't think it was as bad as some Marvel fans were saying at the time. But yeah, definitely I think Aquaman, beats this film. We're not talking about box office, of course. We're just talking about quality. Is it as good? So Aquaman, for me, is better than the first four. So what we got next? What have we got next? We've got... should we look at... Is Aquaman as good as Ant-Man? Yes, of course it is. It's better. It's much better. Because Ant-Man is just an underscoring filler movie, just like his sequel is as well. These are not big time films. I think Faye was just sitting there going, what other characters should we do? I know, let's do Ant-Man. Then they had the idea of Paul Rudd. The problem is with Ant-Man, it would have been a lot better if they didn't, I forgot the guy's name, who Paul Rudd was working with before, right? Right, isn't it? Something right. But yeah, so they really dumbed down, they messed with this so badly, it could have been really good. But anyway, change the subject. Yeah, Aquaman creams all over Ant-Man. So what's next? We have Doctor Strange. Now, I think Doctor Strange is a solid enough film. And I certainly love the third act. I think it's really stronger in its third act. Is Aquaman as good as Doctor Strange? Yes, Aquaman is as good as Doctor Strange. And in places, it's better. So definitely it stands up to this MCU first run movie. So what we got next? The much maligned by me, Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming, right? So what do we think of Spider-Man Homecoming? Is it as good as Aquaman? Well, Aquaman is better than Spider-Man Homecoming as far as I'm concerned. Not everyone's going to agree with that. There's a lot of MCU defenders out there who will say everything they do is better than what the DC do. That's up to you. But in my eyes, basically, Aquaman is better than Homecoming in every way. For me, Homecoming is a disappointment. Aquaman is not. Aquaman reigns it in, if you like. There's so many great things in Aquaman. So, yes. So, the final one, which is Black Panther. Now, this is an interesting one, and this is going to be controversial for a lot of MCU fans. I like Black Panther. I really do. I think it's a really solid, good, generic first movie for Black Panther. And there's a lot of similarities here in the sense of Black Panther being in Civil War and Aquaman being in BVS and in Justice League. So people already were used to Momoa's version of Aquaman. And I think that's why it's got a larger audience. And I think this is why Black Panther did a lot of money as well. And there was many reasons as well. There was political reasons why Black Panther made more money as well. But the point is, Aquaman, for me, is a more enjoyable film. I think what really does let Black Panther down is its third act. It reminded me of the third act of The Phantom Menace. Actually, at the time, I liked the third act of The Phantom Menace, but I just was watching the third act of... excuse me. I was watching the third act of Black Panther, and it really did remind me of the third act of The Phantom Menace. And I'm thinking, how can everyone say this is such an amazing movie, but then they hate The Phantom Menace? And it's the hypocrisy of the movie-going niche audience, isn't it? So, is Aquaman at least as good as Black Panther? Yes, absolutely yes. Aquaman has a much better third act than Black Panther, but I don't want you to misunderstand me. I loved Black Panther. I thought it was an okay movie. Shuri was my favourite character. She was the character I enjoyed watching. I liked Black Panther. Yeah, I thought Chadwick Boseman did a great job. I didn't like the villain. I thought the villain in Aquaman, a.k.a. Orm, the fantastic Patrick Wilson, was much better in every way than Killmonger. That's just my opinion. I didn't think Killmonger was a very effective villain. You could pretty much see what was going on once he thought he killed Black Panther. So Aquaman for me is just as strong, and it could be even stronger. It depends who you talk to. So we've just looked at every MCU origin film, every first run film for a character, unless I'm missing one out, and I'm sure maybe I am. I just feel, right, that Aquaman stands up to every one of those films. It's even better than some of them, because I think it's important to do that comparison when we look at reviews as well. And I mean, I'm not going to stand here and see what MCU films got. Or should we do that? No. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. I was thinking about maybe comparing like the Rotten Tomato ratings and all that, but that would just take a long time. And to be honest with you, I can't be bothered. But the reality is, from an audience perspective, and I think that's where we should look at this, is where does Aquaman line up when we look at this? So, look, the MCU is looked at as the best franchise of all time by so many people. It's certainly the longest running. It's certainly the most successful in box office terms. That can't be denied. But in terms when I compare Aquaman to all these standalone first run hero movies with the MCU, which is supposed to be the most successful franchise, Aquaman stands up to every one of those movies. In fact, I would only rate Aquaman lower than films from his own universe. I don't think it rates higher or even on par with Man of Steel. I'm a Superman fan, so I'm biased. I don't think it's on par or even as better than Wonder Woman. And I suppose if you want to call Batman v Superman an origin movie for this Batman, you wouldn't put Aquaman above that film either. Now, that doesn't mean I don't love Aquaman. It's definitely... I mean, I was very controversial on Twitter yesterday. Everyone was doing their DCEU rankings, and I said that Man of Steel was my first, Wonder Woman was my second, and then I triggered everyone by putting BVS third, and that obviously upset a lot of my fellow DCEU fans. I would then put Aquaman fourth. Really got a bad throat. Sorry about this. Oh my God, I really need to stop smoking and having fun, don't I? Anyway, yeah. So Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, BVS, then Aquaman at fourth, then Suicide Squad fifth, and Justice League, of course, would be sixth because of all the issues it had. So I suppose we can quickly talk about this, or should we do another video? Actually, we're going to do another video. That can be another video. I also got a box office kind of update for Aquaman later on. Yeah. Let's to be continued, right? I will talk to you why I would put Wonder Woman above Batman v Superman. And this should trigger a few people as well. But it shouldn't really trigger you, because Wonder Woman, for me, is a superior film to BVS. Does it mean I don't like BVS? I love BVS. BVS is one of my favourite films ever. It's a great film. But I think Wonder Woman flows so much better. And that's just my opinion. And we'll talk about that in the other video anyway. See you soon.